Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the 24 products that I am planning to pan in 2024. So if that sounds good to you, just want to hang out for a while, you want to shop your stash and pan a few of your own products, keep on watching. Before we get too far into the video, if you have not already, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. I upload videos twice a week. It is totally free to subscribe, and I would love to have you back again on the channel and chat with you about all things makeup in the comments. Now, while this is called Planning to Pan 24 in 2024, it really maybe for me should be called Plan to Totally Use Up, because there are some products I've had for way too long. They're just old in my collection. They need to go. They need to be gone. I need to use them up. And for many of them, I already know I do not plan to repurchase them. So I'm just sharing with you all to hopefully hold myself accountable to actually using these things up. I will say I kept the bar low for me. Like, I put things on this list that are already only one step away from the makeup graveyard. So things that should be very easy for the most part for me to use up. Because I almost feel like for me, it's like losing weight. Once you see the first couple pounds fall off, you're like, it's working. And then you just like double down and go even harder with it. It's my strategy for this, this project pan is to go for the low-hanging fruit, right? The easy stuff that it's super easy to finish first. And then be like, yay, use stuff up. Oh my gosh, what else can I use up? That's my plan with the motivation. We'll see here. So if there are a few things that you're like, girl, that's basically used up already. I know, trust me, I know, but it's part of my plan, part of my process to get me to use up even more. So the first thing is this Maybelline Master Chrome Metallic Highlighter. This is the lid. This is all the product I have left, you guys. It's literally just the stuff that's like in the, you can see like there on my hand is a little bit, it's just what's in like the lip of it around the ring. It's almost gone, but even then that's gonna last me several, like I could probably get 10 uses out of that, right? Just with that little amount. So again, we're starting with the low hanging fruit. Next up, the Wet n Wild bronzer in Palm Beach Ready. Now for both of these products, they are not bad, right? The Master Chrome, the highlighter, that was probably the most blinding highlighter I had ever purchased when I first got it. I'm wearing it today, but now it's just like fine. Like there's nothing wrong with it, but it's very subtle compared to what I consider to be a very blingy highlighter now. So I'm gonna use it up, but I'm not planning to repurchase it. This bronzer, we don't have a lot of product yet left, but again, this is probably a good, for me, it's probably a good 20 uses left just around the lip of it, because I'm not using much product each time. It's also the bronzer I'm wearing today. It's very glowy. I usually like to apply more of my bronzer in like a chiseled manner to really sculpt, but with this one I found when I did that, it was like too much of a highlightery stripe, so I have to apply it with kind of a bigger, fluffier brush and get more of a diffused bronzer look, and that kind of like diffuses the glow all over instead of looking like line as well. So I make it work, but it's just not my favorite, and I'm not going to repurchase that again either once I use it up. But we are going to use it up. We paid for it, we're going to use it. Next up, and I will say, I put some minis in here, you guys. I know, again, that could be cheating. Like, you couldn't even use 24 full size. Okay, maybe not though, but I have a lot of minis taking up a lot of space, especially back from when I used to get Ipsies monthly, and I just want them gone. So I am focusing on some minis and sample sizes. Maybe that's considered cheating. You know, if you need to comment and say, oh my gosh, whatever, sure, go ahead, but I'm including them anyway. So this is from the Balm, the Meet Matte Hues Long Lasting Liquid Lipstick in shade Committed. And this one's close to, I've already taken the stopper out just to really try to scrape and get it. So we've probably got a few weeks left of uses because this is really pigmented. It doesn't take much, but I'm not going to repurchase this. This is one of the old-fashioned, like, dries down to cement, uncomfortable, crusty liquid lipsticks that I'm making it work with, you know, gloss and liner, but it's not something I plan on repurchasing. And then after I use up that Maybelline highlighter, I have a Morphe one here in Spark. It's not super big, but you can probably see this lid is on, so I can tip it a little. It's broken, it's all busted, so I just want to use it because it's messy, right? It's just broken and busted everywhere. And this has a decent amount left compared to the other highlighter, but I definitely think in a year's time I can use it up if I'm consistent with it. And I just don't want any like broken powders in my collection. I want all of those gone, so that's why that's on this list to use up. And I won't repurchase that because if I do want to use a Morphe highlighter, it's not shade Spark, but I have two Morphe highlighters in the Manny MUA collaboration that they did with Morphe in his eyeshadow palette. There's also two highlighters, so I'll just go for that if I want a Morphe highlighter after I've used this up. Next up, you probably saw this in my full face of the oldest makeup in my collection. I will leave that linked if you haven't seen it. This is the IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Compact Skin Transforming Full Coverage Solid Super Serum Broad Spectrum foundation. I guess it's just super serum. It doesn't call it a foundation, but we've made some progress since the last thumbnail I made with that. There's definitely pan. We're just using up what there is around here. I do not like this. It's kind of slippery, slidey, and just heavy feeling on the skin, honestly. It has light coverage. The coverage is fine, but I just don't like how heavy and sticky and like even when I set it, it doesn't like really stay in place too well. So again, we're using it up. It's one of the older items in my collection, but we're gonna be moving it right along and not repurchasing that one. The sixth item I'm going to be using up is also a little tiny mini, but I've been hoarding it. It's the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer in Radiance. I love this one. Oh, they don't make it anymore. And I love this one, but they don't make it anymore. So I need to just use it up and move on to something that I can currently get, right? And not just hoard it, because there's not that much left in this anyway, and I've been holding on to it, but it's time. I just need to enjoy it, and all good things come to an end. So I can't repurchase it, or I absolutely would, but that one's not available anymore. Okay, here's something I definitely at some point will repurchase. So this is the Tarte Maracuja Tinted Hydrator. I have mine in shade 10N Fair Neutral. And I've gone through multiple littler sizes that I've gotten from Ipsy's, and this is a full size. And this one I would say is probably down to about here. This is what I use a lot on a daily basis. So I just go through it because this is like my go-to when I'm teaching at school. Just a light hydration, a tint when my skin is good and I'm not breaking out, so I don't feel like I need a lot of coverage. When I've used enough witch hazel to like make my redness pretty even, this is what I wear when I'm having a good skin day and I just like want to let the skin be skinning. If that makes any sense at all. But that one I really like. I've, like I said, used multiple minis of it, and I will definitely buy another full size. Not necessarily right when I run out of it, because I have plenty of other foundations, but at some point I definitely foresee myself using it again or buying it again. I think full price is pretty ridiculous for this, but I think the reason I bought this one is that Ulta was doing their like 21 days of beauty and was half off. So I definitely repick this up if I see it for half off in any sales at Ulta. Next up, I don't know if I'm gonna fully be able to use this up, but I at least want to try to pan all three shades. This is from Laura Geller, and it is the Red Carpet Ready Face and Eye Palette. It only has 3 shades. Look at all this cardboard for 3 shades. That's annoying. But there are 2 eyeshadows, and then this one is a Moondust Illuminator, which is like kind of pinky and iridescent. I'll probably use that as a shimmer for the eye looks with the 2 eyeshadows as well as a highlighter. But I at least want to pan all 3 of these. If not, totally use them up. I don't know if I can use them up. It's hard to tell because this is thick packaging, like how deep these pans go, and they're glued in, so I can't just like magnetically take them out, or I would just put it in a Z palette instead of this big thing. That's partially why I want to use it up, because it's just this huge honking packaging for 3 little shades. So we're gonna at least try to pan all 3 shades this year in this palette. Number 10 also has a really good start to it. This is the Ulta Beauty Flower Power Mattifying Face Powder. So a lot of times if I use the Tarte Tinted Hydrator or even the concealer that I use, I do feel I need to set, not necessarily everything, but at least my T-zone or where I have put concealer so that it stays in place. I have combination skin, so I'm pretty dry. I would say like the perimeters of my forehead get dry. Sometimes over here gets dry, but I'm oily on the chin. I'm oily here around the nose. I'm oily like here in the center of the head. So I powder selectively. And I've been using this just because it's a pressed powder I had and was trying to use what I have in my collection. I've actually really liked this. It's pink, you know, I got this before that was even a trend, the pink powders. It is kind of brightening under the eye, which I really like. And I would be interested in buying a different pink powder after this, but this particular one from Ulta Beauty is no longer available, so it won't be this one. But we're gonna try to use up that powder this year. And number 11, when that powder's gone, I would like to use up, let me get it here, another powder that's on my desk that I use a lot. I have some powder in the lid, so I can't show you the actual label, but it is the Original Formula Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder. And I don't know if you can see the shadow here, hopefully, but I have like here under left. So it's definitely less than half, maybe like a quarter full at most between what's in there and the lid. And I like the powder as far as how it performs. I will not repurchase that one because of the scent. It is so heavily fragranced and disgusting, frankly, that I don't care how good it is, I'm not gonna buy it again. There's gotta be something else better that doesn't stink. And in fact, I know there is, because I have a Wet n Wild Photo Focus loose powder in my collection that I like that doesn't smell like that. But we're gonna use her up this year. Next up, the NYX Bare With Me Brow Setter. And this one I may repurchase because this is the last brow gel in my collection. I've already taken out the stopper, and I just love how tiny this little applicator is. It's what I'm wearing today. I've worn it all day and the brows are still up in the front the way I want them to. Yeah, I just really like this product, and I used to really like the Gimme Brow Plus from Benefit, but this wand is even more precise than that one, I think. And this one is only, I think, $8. So I probably will purchase another one of those for $8 when that runs out, because I have 0 other brow gels in my collection. That is not a category I have any of. So that one I'll probably replace. But I mean, that's an exception, not the rule in this list for sure. Next up, from BH Cosmetics, the Paradise Refresh Face Mist. We're gonna use up this setting spray. I probably am down to like here. Again, we're going for the low hanging fruit. I don't think you can buy this setting spray anymore, so I definitely won't be repurchasing that. Because I don't think I can, and I have other setting sprays too that I'm gonna move on to after that. I have 2 lip liners I want to use up from Melt Cosmetics. Let me find them here. They're both about the same height here, right? So here's like a lip liner that's almost new from another brand compared to them. So they're probably like halfway gone. One's in shade Foxy and the other is in shade Headbang. They're both like, one's a warmer tone and one's a cooler tone brown. They are slightly different. They're pretty similar though. I got these in a mystery box. I'll leave my Melt mystery box linked if you're curious. Haven't done one of those in a while because they haven't had a $25 one that includes a palette in a while, or I would. Next time I see one, I will definitely snag one because I love filming those, and that's how I discovered these pencils, and I love them so much, but I'm not going to repurchase them because I love just as much these from Unearthly Cosmetics. These are only $6 full price. These are more than that. And Unearthly recently has done not one but 2 50% off sales. So I've gotten these for $3. You can't beat it, people. So as much as I like the Melt ones, I won't repurchase them because I have found something else I like just as much that is more affordable. So we're just gonna go ahead and use these up so that we are done with them and have them out of the collection. Next up, we're gonna use up the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect. This is what I'm wearing today. So far, I don't really like this. I know that is an unpopular opinion. It's a great price point. The formula, we'll see as I use it if it dries up a little bit more, but it's too wet for me. It transfers too easily up onto my brow bone. Now, it doesn't transfer throughout the day. I've been wearing this makeup now for, what time is it? 5. I've been wearing this makeup for about 7 hours now. So obviously the mascara is not transferring once it's on, but when it's first being applied, it's just messy. I don't like that. I don't have time for that. There's other mascaras I like better that I think separate my lashes better to give me more fullness in the lashes, and this one doesn't do that. So we're gonna use it up. I think it's one of the older mascaras in my collection because I've used up a couple other ones at the end of last year. I'll leave my declutter video of my mascaras if you haven't seen it. But there's an Ardell one and a Pretty Vulgar one I went through last year before getting to this one. And now we're gonna use up this one just because I'm trying to go in order of like oldest to newest to get rid of some of these 2- and 3-year-old products, if not more, that are in the bottom backs of my drawers that I'm not really gravitating towards. Okay, so the other setting spray that I'm going to use up after that, the H1, is this one from Benefit. It is the Professional Super Setter. This is my favorite setting spray I have ever found, so I'm not using this one up because it's old or to get it out of my collection. I will be using this one up because it is my go-to one when I need my makeup to last and look flawless. This is the one I turn to. So I can see the shadow till about here in this bottle. I have a little bit left. This is normally expensive, like $30 or $33. So I've just been waiting to see it on sale for half off again at Ulta. So I'll get it for $15. That I'm willing to do. I'm not willing to do $30 or $33. I'm sorry, I'm not on a setting spray. So this one I will absolutely repurchase, but I'm waiting for when I see it on sale. Next up, I'm gonna use this teensy tiny little concealer from Tarte. This is the Tarte Ultra Creamy Shape Tape Concealer in shade 12N Fair Neutral. This one is also almost gone. I've taken the stopper out, but she just keeps going and going and going and lasting forever. I like this one, okay, but it is like, because it's so creamy, it can crease if I don't set it. But if I set it, it's fine. It's what I'm wearing today. And then after I use that one up, I want to focus on using up the Urban Decay All Nighter Waterproof Full Coverage Concealer. I remember liking this one a lot. I got this at some point from TJ Maxx. It's just, again, getting older. Sick packaging. I really like this one a lot, but it's just getting old in my collection. So especially like cream products and like complexion products and mascaras, I'm gonna try to be better about not keeping things so long until they get like gross. And in order to do that, I just need to like use less and not buy any new ones so that I only have like 2 or 3 foundations or 2 or 3 concealers and not as many as I have in my collection now. If you want to know how many I have in my collection now, I will leave linked my entire inventory where I tell you the exact numbers. It's astounding, people. It's a lot. So moving on, what else are we using up? I've got my list here in front of me. Yes. Okay, so we're going to use up the Revlon Candid foundation. This is the Natural Finish Anti-Pollution Foundation. I have mine in 110. This one's fine. This is actually what I'm wearing today. I feel like when paired with a hydrating primer, it's okay. If I don't use a hydrating primer, I think this one looks a little cakey and it kind of can emphasize my texture, which I don't want. So with a hydrating primer, which the primer I used is in this list too, I'll get to that. That's okay, but you can probably see from the side how much it's been like squeezed down, and like we're making progress. We got to be getting close on this one, I'm thinking. And yeah, just get it out of my collection. I'm not gonna repurchase it because I'm not in love with foundations that I have to baby like that. Like I said, I can use it if and only if I pair it with a certain thing. I want something that I can pair it with whatever. And like, sure, there can be things that are like a favorite combo, but I don't want things where if I use one thing, I can't use this or to look bad. Does that make sense at all? So I'm just gonna use that one up and I'm not gonna replace it in my collection. I am also going to use up from Colourpop this lip oil. This is a full size. This is the lip oil in Rain Check. I think it's about halfway. What do you think? Close to halfway? It's like here. This is what I'm wearing on my lips with a bit of one of those Unearthly lip liners. I love the feeling of the lip formula from Colourpop, and I love the like super small little sparkles. I'm not in love with the flat applicator, I will say, and I think I've had this a bit now because I think it's starting to have a bit of a strange odor that it definitely didn't have before. So it's time. It just needs to be used up and gone. At some point, I wouldn't be opposed to owning more lip oils from Colourpop. I really love the like micro shimmery mica in the formula, but I have several lip oils from Lunar Beauty that I'm going to try to like utilize those first before I go to buying another one from Colourpop for the time being, just again to get the quantity of things in my collection down. We only have a few items left. So next up is from Wet n Wild, the Mega Liner. This is their liquid eyeliner in shade dark brown. So the formula is fine. It doesn't crack. It doesn't transfer. It doesn't flake. I'm wearing shadow liner today, not this, but this is just like a felt tip that I feel like I don't have enough control on. Now for the price point, it's pretty good, but it's just not my favorite ever. The M Cosmetics liner is my favorite. I like a brush tip. I don't like a felt tip. I don't think I knew this was a felt tip when I got it, but again, it was cheap. So it's fine. It gets the job done. But this is, again, I think this is the last brown liquid liner I have in my collection. So I'm just going to use it up and be done. And then at that point, I'll either use a gel pencil liner or shadow liner unless like something gets sent to me, right? If something gets sent to me, it's, you know, I'll review it. It's fine, but I'm not gonna like go out of my way to purchase something. And last but not least, okay, so I used this for 2 slots because I felt like it was cheating a little bit. Okay, so primers. All of these primers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 face primers that are all tiny, but I felt like it was too easy to just count this as one item each, right? So I have 7 that I'm going to use for 2 slots. Is that cheating? Probably, but you know, it is what it is. I've done a project pan before. The last time was 2020. We all know what happened there, right? So I wasn't very successful. So I wanted to set this up in a way that I could actually accomplish it and do it and not feel like a failure like the last time I did this. So today I'm wearing this primer. This is the Too Faced Hangover RX Replenishing Face Primer. So this one is pretty hydrating, but I don't remember it doing this before. It was pilling a little bit when I used it, and I attribute that more to the age of the product than the formula, because I realized I have not 1, but 2 of these. Yes, 2 of these little minis. So we're gonna use both of those up. We're gonna use up the Thank Me Later face primer, the mattifying one from Elizabeth Mott that I have. Some days, even though I'm combo, I do have like an oily day where a mattifying makes more sense. It just depends, or if it's summer, right? So maybe I'll wait for it's warmer later in the year to use that one. The MAC Prep and Prime Skin Base Visage, we're gonna use that up. The Lancome Liquid Glow Soothing Moisturizer, we're gonna use that as a primer and use that up. The Make Moonlight Primer, don't know, we're gonna use that up. And the Ulta Beauty Hydrating Face Primer, we're gonna use that up. All 7 face primers. So I think the only thing in my entire list of 24 items that is not a goal to totally use up is this Laura Geller palette. My plan is just to pan all of those. Everything else, I want 100% gone, using every last drop, get it out of the collection, replace it with either another one if it's like the setting spray or the Tarte hydration, the tinted hydrator. I think those might be the only 2 things that I actually want to replace. Everything else, oh, and the NYX brow gel. I think everything else, either I don't want to replace it or I can't because it's not available anymore. So let me know, guys, in the comments, are you buying stuff this year? Are you like just letting it flow? Are you on a low buy? Are you on a no buy? Do you want to shop your stash? Do you want to do a planning to pan with me? Let me know in the comments what you are planning to pan. Or if you are a creator yourself, because I know there are other creators who watch my channel, just like I watch other creators, of course, and you want to collaborate on something, DM me, either message me here. I'll find you on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram. All my handles and things are in the description. Thanks so much if you made it all the way to the end. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you again on the next one. Bye!